guys are excited, let's play. Again? Oh, you want to be like, I want to be like you. I want to be like you. I want to be an author. I'm a student from TIC. Okay. So before we start with our session with Sir Thailand, who want to play a game? Say I in the comment section.
I. Hi.
Hi. Okay, so this is just an easy game. So do you know what I am holding right now? Type in the comment section.
Yes.
What am I holding right now? It's not rotan. Come on, come on. Come on. With who? Okay. Yes, I'm holding a flute. Okay. Harry Potter punya tongkat. Abracadabra. Labiosa. Okay. Oh, it's not air. It's the flute. Okay, so right now, I will be playing a song. Okay. So if you can guess the song, type the name of the song in the comment section. Okay. Is it clear? If is it clear, press click type OK. Okay. So it's one of the famous song from one of the okay. Okay, Titanic, my heart went on. So who sang the song? Come on, type in the comment section. Who sang the song? Who sang the song? Who sang the song? Siapa Rose? Oh, itu Rose, anak Pak Cik. Oh, bukan. Kelas baru mula ke? Belum lagi. Kelas will start insyaAllah. Okay, dan borak-borak dulu, kenal-kenal dulu, okay? Dia elevator Dia elevator. Okay. Oh, Blackpink pun boleh. Ask. Okay. Next song. Try and guess this song, okay? Coughing song. Angkat keranda. Yes, it is a song. A coughing dance. Okay. Okay. Maybe this is the last song before we start with our session. Okay.
I try.
Come on. This song is famous in Instagram filter. TikTok song. Okay. Yes, At My Worst by Pink Sweats, if I'm not mistaken. I need somebody who could love me at my worst. Who? Just look at the lyrics, okay? Okay, saya perlukan seseorang bila saya paling teruk. Oh my god. Sweetnya. Can I call you baby? Oh my god. Okay. So, are you ready to start our class? Our session right now? If you are ready, type I am ready in the comment section. Pick up line satu, sir. Pick up line Sudah lama pencin pick up ni.
Ready, sir.
Oh, ready.
Hi, Aiman.
Hi.
Ahmad here.
Okay, hi.
Wah, bunganya baju malam ni
Baju sarung. But it's okay. Just for the sake of these warriors. So we
Alright.
wear batik. Okay. Malam-malam pakai batik, yo.
Bagus.
Just to look handsome.
Bang, abang bunga. Kalau nak pick up line, mudah aja, Aiman.
Macam mana tu?
Okay. Cuba tengok jari.
Jari.
Alright. Okay, so mana jari kelingking?
Kelingking. You good?
Okay. Jari manis?
Manis.
Ha.
Boleh dikatakan semua manis kalau untuk awak.
Salah. Salah, bukan. Jari lah, ini jari manisnya kat awak. Gitu. Aduh.
Okay, saya nak bagi satu pikiran lain dekat awak. Okay. Pizza. Okay, tahu pizza?
Ayo.
Okay. Pizza asal dari negara mana?
Itali.
Tapi kenapa awak handsome sangat malam ni? Wah, tapi kalau buat dekat perempuan macam kalau pizza dari kalau pizza asal dia dari Itali. Asal awak lawa sangat malam ni.
Lama. Okay, kita cuba tanya audience tengok siapa yang join kelas kita pada petang tadi. Siapa yang join?
Saya.
Alright. So macam mana? Okay ke? Saya lupa.
Seronok gila, sumpah seronok.
Terbaik. Walaupun adalah sedikit dipanjangkan kan, tapi insyaAllah apa-apa bermanfaat. Okay. So sekarang ni sudah pun live di Facebook. Okay, live di Facebook. So saya harap adik-adik semua juga untuk sila tag, buatkan tugasan anda untuk pergi ke Facebook, share dekat daripada seminar page kita ya Aiman dan tagkan kawan-kawan. So lagi siapa yang banyak tag kawan-kawan tu minta tolong seramai yang mungkin nanti pihak penganjur akan berikan hadiah mesti kepada anda. Kita akan tengok siapa yang paling banyak buat share tu. Okay. Dan lagi satu saya nak berpesan juga kepada adik-adik semua. Okay, saya nak berpesan juga sewaktu sahaja program ni berlangsung, saya minta untuk kita jaga etika. Okay, etika kita selaku pelajar untuk kita berikan hormat kepada pensyarah kita lah ataupun cikgu pakar kita ya. Itu yang pertama. Betul Aiman Kalau tidak ilmu tak dapat. Kan ilmu tak masuk. Kan? So jadi kemudian saya nak pesan juga untuk kalau boleh sekiranya ada ruang untuk tanyakan soalan, baru kita akan bukakan soalan. Tapi kalau boleh tak naklah berduru-duru, maksudnya okay, saya akan pick up satu-satu ke ataupun session kita malam ni insyaAllah ada lain sikit. Okay, dan esok pun lain sebab ada 12 hari ni, 12 ada lebih kurang 21 subjek tak silap kan, bukan 21 slot kan. Siang malam so kita faham. Esok pun ada kelas lagi kan, insyaAllah sepastinya kita akan make you fine dan juga ada ilmu untuk kita manfaat. Itu. So apa hari ni Aiman tadi saya tengok Aiman boleh ada bakat terpendam untuk main recorder.
Waktu saya umur dorang ni, saya memang main recorder.
Oh ya.
Tapi sejak dah berumur ni, saya telah berhijrah main scrolling.
Australia tu bagus sebenarnya.
Hmm.
Okay. Saya nak tunjuk satu YouTube ni sebenarnya.
Ya.
Tapi sekejap ya, saya cuba tengok.
Okay, yang baru masuk tolong share ke rakan-rakan awak semua.
Minta double up lagi.
Yes, because remember you are the warriors right here. Sebab kita sama-sama berjuang. Berjuang menjawab SPM, menduduki SPM. Kita juga berjuang menghadapi COVID. Besar dugaan korang.
Okay, dia ni adalah seorang fingerstyle. Okay, fingerstyle. Saja saya nak share sebab sekejap bagi semua happy sikit. Boleh saya share screen ke? Boleh kan?
Boleh, cuba.
Okay, dia ni adalah fingerstyle daripada Indonesia. Yang paling best sekali tu bukan apa tau, sebab dia main recorder je dan petik jari sebelah jari saja lagu Celine Dion. Cuba kita tengok Macam tak percaya je.
Ni keren, gak ada obat.
Cukup sikit-sikit, nanti kot budak-budak kita berangan pula naik atas kapal. Jumpa tangan. Macam tu. Okay, siapa kat sini? Saya nak tanya siapa kat sini yang habis kelas yang pertama tadi, maklumkan kat rakan-rakan untuk join masuk sekali seminar percuma ni daripada pihak TIC. Ada tak? Bantu kawan-kawan. Ada tak? Bagus. So korang dah makan ke adik-adik? Dah makan ke?
Encik Ahmad.
Yes, saya.
Encik Ahmad.
Yes.
Saya difahamkan yang untuk di petang tadi kita telah mencapai sebanyak 500 orang. Ya?
500 orang?
Ya, saya rasa lebih juga.
Lebih. Rasanya lebih.
Lebih.
InsyaAllah tak silap saya 1,000 lebih kot. 1,000 lebih. Malam ni kita cuba
dekat Facebook lagi.
Tak termasuk dekat Facebook, betul. Okay. So sebentar saja lagi untuk kita akan teruskan slot kita yang kedua, iaitu apa tajuknya tu, Aiman?
Dua L.
Okay.
Malam ni slot bahasa Inggeris ya.
Okay.
Sama Mr. Thailand.
Baik. So sebelum kita akan pergi lebih kurang 7 minit saja lagi, apa kata kalau kita sedikit berikan intro kepada pihak penaja kita. Boleh Aiman So kepada
Boleh.
So pastikan anda mutekan anda punya speaker, insyaAllah. Okay, mutekan anda punya speaker. So terima kasih. Terima kasih lagi sekali. Sekejap. Okay.
Ramai nak berkaraoke lah malam ni.
Okay. Okay. Baik, so sebelum kita akan mula, saya akan berikan sedikit kepada yang baru masuk pada malam ini, slot anda yang pertama. So saya akan intro sedikit mengenai dengan TAJ International College sebagai penaja utama kita bagi program seminar online Skor SPM bagi tahun 2021 untuk SPM Batch 2020. So jadinya untuk adik-adik semua, sekali lagi saya ucapkan jutaan terima kasih sekalum penghargaan kepada adik-adik yang sudi luangkan juga masa adik bersama dengan kami pada malam ini, yang pastinya kita tahu esok ada hari persekolahan, ya, komitmen adik dan kita faham semuanya. InsyaAllah So sama-sama kita akan doakan atas kejayaan adik, dan kita harapkan untuk sepanjang seminar untuk percuma ni, seminar kita buat ni akan memberikan semangat kepada adik-adik dan juga terus membara untuk dapatkan kecemerlangan bakat tercipta dalam keputusan SPM adik saja nanti. So jadinya untuk itu
Amin.
saya akan berikan sedikit pengenalan terhadap dengan penaja kita ya, interval sedikit, iaitu TAJ International College merupakan sebuah institusi pengajian tinggi swasta hampir 25 tahun dah ya, bertapak di bumi Ipoh Perak ni Aiman. So jadinya kita juga menawarkan program daripada peringkat foundation, ada peringkat sijil, peringkat diploma, peringkat degree dan juga peringkat masters, dan kita juga berkolaborasi bersama dengan universiti-universiti awam tempatan yang lain. So jadinya duduk dalam satu tempat, duduk di Perak, semua universiti ada dekat situ. Okay. So jadi 25 tahun kita beroperasi selaku institusi pendidikan, insya-Allah yang pastinya semua program yang kita tawarkan ini boleh insya-Allah mendapatkan kepoleh pasaran kerja yang ada kelulusan daripada kerajaan, daripada kementerian dan sebagainya, dan juga kita telah pun melahirkan graduan lebih kurang 20,000 orang dah ya. So agak begitu ramai sekali, alhamdulillah. Dan kita menantikan kehadiran insya-Allah untuk penaja utama, penaja paling besar sekali lah ya, iaitu Puan Tina binti Datuk Seri Haji Tajuddin yang merupakan CEO Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif TAJ International College. Sebelum saya akan berikan kepada beliau, insya-Allah saya akan baca sedikit background bio data beliau untuk kita sama-sama, adik-adik juga untuk boleh berkenalan bersama dengan Puan Tina binti Datuk Seri Haji Tajuddin. So, jadi beliau juga mempunyai lebih 25 tahun working experience ya dalam bidang education ini, dan juga merupakan education background daripada sekolah menengah dia. Kalau siapa ada kat sini kan, sekolah menengah daripada Konvent Bukit Nenas, Kuala Lumpur, dan juga melanjutkan pengajian beliau University Leeds United Kingdom di bawah dalam Bachelor of Law LLB. Kemudian diteruskan juga ada Advocate or Solicitor in High Court Malaya, dan kemudian teruskan lagi dengan pengajian beliau University of the West of England UWE, Bristol United Kingdom dalam bidang Masters of Business Administration. So jadinya dekat sini juga beliau juga dikenali sebagai CEO mentor kami. So jadi pengalaman luas, beliau merupakan seorang usahawan wanita yang berjaya. Beliau juga merupakan seorang ikon usahawan wanita di bawah SME Bank. So jadi adik-adik bukan calon-calon orang bersama kita malam ni Aiman pun ya. So jadi siapa nak kenal bersama dengan Puan Tina kita malam ni untuk memberikan sedikit ucap pertama sebelum kita akan meneruskan slot kita yang kedua. Say hi semua. Say hi semua. Kita nak tengok kat ruangan chat box kita ni. Right.
Cakap hi Tina.
Okay. So tanpa melengah masa lagi, kita akan menyebut Puan Tina binti Datuk Seri Tajuddin, CEO TAJ International College. Dipersilakan Puan Tina. Dia sudah masuk? InsyaAllah. Hai Puan. Kita menunggu.
Unmute.
Oh,
Hi.
okay. Alright.
Hello.
Hello
Hi,
Puan.
Hai. Cantiknya tak adalah.
Nanti. CEO kami memang cantik. Alhamdulillah. Terima kasih. Rezeki.
Rezeki Okay, hello everyone. How are you guys? Okay. So, dah makan everything? Fit like a fiddle, they say. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Okay, first of all, congratulations to all of you who participate in this online seminar. I would like to congratulate each of you. That I think, you are the best people. Very lucky to be part of this seminar. And I'm very pretty sure, sebab in English kan, so I kena cakap English lah tak? Okay, I'm very pretty sure you will look forward to more on this seminar. Okay, but firstly, I just like to introduce myself, okay? I'm the CEO for the TAJ International College, and saya ni sebenarnya orang biasa je. Dah cakap Melayu balik. I'm just an average person, yeah. My background. For your information, to be success in life, up to what I have here, and to be qualified as a lawyer, you know, to be qualified CEO, and I pursue my education until University of Leeds, United Kingdom. Well, the journey is very, very, how to say, it's not complicated, but you just have to play your part. And nothing is impossible, okay? Nothing is impossible. You have to understand that each of you guys, you have the potential. Ya, tak kisahlah you anak kampung ke, anak apa ke, that does not matter, you know. The most important thing is the vision. You have to stay focused in life. And to be able to actually communicate in English very well, of course you need to practice. You need to overcome your fear. Okay, before this, I'm not the type of like I would like to speak in English with my friends. You know, I tend to fumble. You know, sometimes I feel very inferiority complex when my good friends, you know, especially you know, we are convent schools. Kan, convent school ni in terms of English, they are very, how to say, well spoken lah. But myself, I'm not that type. You know, I'm just the average. But anyway, when I overcome the fear, yeah, because I have this ambition that I want to be a lawyer one day. So that is why I have to actually master English. And people keep saying that English is the most important language. So it's very important for me to overcome the fear first before I start to love and start to be good in English, you know. And it's not easy because people tend to laugh at you. People will say things that will make you feel down, kan? You feel like, okay, you have spoken wrong English. So at the end of the day, you just leave it like that. But at this present moment, I think that should not be it, kan? You, if you think this is the right thing to do, this is the right ambition you want, you just go for it, okay? For you guys, I'm very, very pretty sure that you are very talented people, you know. The only thing that I would like to suggest for you guys is to have the right circle. You need to be in the very good circle, the positive circle that can push you. So that is why TIC, TAJ International College, has this mission to make sure all of you be very successful. Although at this moment, I'm very pretty sure you will think that with the COVID, with the MCO, with a lot of challenges in front of you, you may not perform in your SPM. But you have to remember, the war just has not started. We have not won the war. So we have to make sure that we equip ourselves in every certain manner to make sure that we actually win it and we finish with a strong ending, you know. So for me, at the end of the day, I call you my student lah, you all, I feel that you are the best people that can have this opportunity. Tak semua orang dapat having exams while having COVID. You created the history. Orang kata tahu, sejarah dah tercipta untuk you, and your names will be there. So make sure that you finish SPM, you finish strong. Kena habis dengan cara baik. You must finish it strong. Jangan give up at the last, last stage. Jangan putus asa. Jangan kisah semua tu. It's just like berapa hari je lagi. Betul tak? It's just a few days left. So no point for you to give up. So that is why I hope with TIC being close to you, we are very close to you. We want to help you. I hope that you are closer to us in all aspects. So always, be together in circle, and please make sure you finish all the teachers that is going to actually have the seminar every day. I'm very pretty sure you can manage your time very well, kan, you can actually allocate the hour for the session. So please register in the Google form. Ask your friends to register in the Google form, so that not only you be proud being in the seminar, but you are also making other people, you are like helping other people to actually perform in their SPM. That is the best thing to do. That is the wonderful thing, you know, what we call a philanthropist, like B.Melayu. You know, we help people. We help people from time to time. Jangan kedekut. Jangan kata, tak naklah saya seorang je tahu pasal seminar ni. No, we have to help people. You know, by helping people, then Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala will help us. Okay, always remember that. So thank you again for the opportunity for me to share my experience to you. Yeah, as I said, I'm just an average person, but ordinary person, but we have an extraordinary mind. Yeah, stay focused, never give up. And I pray that all of you will finish strong in this SPM exam. So thank you again for the opportunity. And thank you again, Mr. Thailand from Johor, yeah, all the way from Johor. He will be doing the sharing of English to you guys. I am very pretty sure that it's going to be a fantastic, amazing sharing today. So please take note and always keep in touch in future. Okay, that's all from me. Take care, everybody. Bye. Have a good seminar. Bye bye. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye Puan. Thank you so much Puan. Alright. So, let's come. Kita akan bersama dengan Cikgu Thailand. Dipersilakan Cikgu Thailand.
Hello everyone. Can you all hear me? Good day everyone. We have very limited time, so we have a lot to cover, as all of you are well aware of. Therefore, students, I would request a humble favor from all of you. Please keep your mics off, because we have only an hour and we would want to avoid any interference. Okay. Number two, when the slides are being presented, kindly remember to screenshot the slides, because I suppose we wouldn't have time to copy whatever details that are being presented. See, my target is to give you as much as I can. All right, I would want to disseminate as much information as I can, because we have 2 papers to cover and there's a lot. So I would like to get that done that way. And you have any questions, any doubts, any obfuscations, anything at all, at the end of the seminar, I would give you my number. In case if you have any questions or doubts, you could text me, and I'm more than willing to help you. So students, I'll be sharing the screen with you. Hopefully you are able to see. All right, can you see the screen, ladies and gentlemen? If you were to type, I suppose I can't see. Can you say yes, one or two of you? Can you see? Can you see the slide? Yes, very good. Yes, raise your hands. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Today we are going to focus on last minute tips to score A+. Yeah. All right. Okay. Students, please remember, first and foremost, SPM 1119, there are mainly 2 elements which are tested. The first one is language proficiency. As for any other language, The first criteria would be language proficiency, and the second criteria would be technicality. Okay, remember that, huh? Language proficiency and technicality. So in order for you to get an A+, you should be able to handle all the technical aspects as well as possess a proficient English. All right, so these are the two required elements around which English paper would evolve: language proficiency and technicality. Now, if we consider language proficiency for paper 1, 70 marks would be on language proficiency, while technicality would consume 15 marks. So it's a total of 85 marks. While for paper 2, 10 marks for language proficiency and 60 marks for technicality. So that's a total of 70 marks. So add both of them together, 155 marks. So if we were to divide the technicality and the language proficiency, it's almost equal. Therefore, for you to get an excellent results in English SPM 1119, you need to be technically good as well as proficient in your English language. Now, we'll cover writing first. We'll start with directed writing. Okay, pre-writing stages. For any directed writing, pre-writing stages. Firstly, read the questions carefully. This has been a nationwide problem where some students do not focus on reading the questions carefully. If you fail to read the question carefully, you would fail to understand the requirement of the question. Faham tak? If you do not read the question carefully, you tidak boleh memahami kehendak soalan. Dan kalau gagal untuk memahami kehendak soalan, maka gagal untuk jawab soalan itu dengan cara yang betul. Whatever the question requires, you will fail to adhere. You will fail to address. Upon reading the questions carefully, identify the format. There are only 5 formats. Identify them. And then identify your role. Who are you? What is your responsibility? Yes, what is your responsibility? And identify your audience or your recipient's role. Whom are you writing to? Whom are you talking to? And then identify the keywords and analyze the content points. After that, these are the primary steps, and only then you brainstorm for relevant idioms, expressions, or phrasal verbs that can be used. Now, while writing, you may use your own words. Do not change the meaning. Rephrasing is allowed. Be mindful not to commit mindless mistakes. Don't make simple mistakes like she don't, he don't. Don't make mistakes like that lah. These are very, very minor mistakes. This is very trivial. You can't miss them. Okay, these are mindless mistakes. Not minute, but mindless mistakes. She doesn't, he doesn't, they don't. So be mindful not to commit such mistakes. Make sure to try doing the task. Do not submit blank answer scripts. Yeah, please, especially for directed writing, do not submit blank answer scripts because the format is given, the content points are given, and there's no word limit. So whatever you write would be converted as marks if they make sense. All right, introduction. Sorry, introduction. For introduction, you need to meet the requirement of the format. Be thoughtful to link to the question to be on the safe side, that is to be on track. Weak students by rephrasing the rubric. For high achievers, use your own words, hooks, statistics, quotes, questioning techniques, and solidify your statements with facts. However, if you're not sure of the fact, do not lie. If you're not sure of the statistics, Do not throw in fake statistics. Instead, you can use random quote, or you can just question the audience. That would keep them engaged. All right. Remember not to waste much time and end up running short of time. Now, expanding your content point. For high achievers, plan and devise the sequence well, possibly 2 sentences per point. Relevant idioms, phrasal verbs, and apt expressions are only bound to be used when they are extremely necessary. So do not overdo and end up being contextually wrong in writing expressions. Use only relevant vocabulary to beautify your directed writing. Do not gaudy decorations. Yeah. Abide by the decorum that suits your directed writing. For example, when we talk about decorum, if it's a formal letter, you can't simply talk about, you can't simply use terms like hey and whatnot. So there is a decorum that you need to abide by. Now, when I talk about possibly 2 sentences per point, one is for the main point, yeah, one is to introduce the content point, and another one is to elaborate the content point. Okay. Expanding the content point for weak students. Weaker students, you can put 4 content points in a paragraph. Make sure your sentence makes sense. All right. 3 paragraphs to fit in all 12 points. Make simple sentences using the sequence connectors or linkers such as firstly, next, besides, other than that, furthermore, in addition to that, not just that, to add, last but not least. All right. For conclusion, add an attractive linker, not the usual mundane ones. If you were to mark 500 essays, 490 would be in a nutshell, in a nutshell, in a nutshell, in a nutshell. Think out of the shell, please. Okay, think of something that's more catchy or interesting. Or you can just put to generalize, to conclude as a generalization, to sum it all up, or phrases like that, instead of overusing in a nutshell. Okay, give a brief summary of the whole body. Excellent students could expand the summary into 2 to 3 sentences. Weaker ones can just keep it to 1 sentence as long as they are error-free. Continue with a word of hope. Sign off with a thanks, either to the audience or to the recipient. This is for the conclusion. All right. Post-writing. After writing, check for grammatical mistakes, subject-verb agreement or tenses prevalently, and then check for punctuations. See to it that the meaning comes through for every content point. Yeah, and the message is conveyed clearly and easily. You see, your content point will only be awarded the marks if it carries the meaning clearly and thoroughly. All right? Okay, moving on. Now we've come to continuous writing, students. Well, there are 5 questions. Okay, as all of you know, there are primarily 5 questions. For continuous writing, there are 5 questions. However, the types of questions can only be categorized into 3. It's either argumentative, or narrative, or descriptive, or it is an amalgamation of 2 essays. Okay, it's a mixture of 2 essays. Probably it's argumentative and descriptive. I hope if you can't, you will have to revisit the presentation and you try to internalize the points, right? All right. For argumentative essay, introduction, development. Some insights. Well, I'm not scaring you off, but let's embrace the fact. It is the hardest of all 3 types of continuous writing, entirely based on facts, requires a holistic understanding of the task to analyze and deduce the details. Ideas have to be presented with maturity and should not be smeared with immature, irrelevant, and excessively gaudy expressions. Okay, this one you need to be very clear. You need to exhibit your maturity in your writing, because this is a factual essay. A fact is a fact. It remains the same as it is to you, to the examiner as well. Okay, so factual as well as argumentative essays can be generally based on these two elements. Element number one, stating facts based on the following elements. It's either reasons, causes, trigger factors, and then implications, consequences, repercussions, and then ways to overcome, solutions, remedy or remedial actions. This is number one. Like you state a fact. For example, vandalism. What are the reasons? What are the implications? What are the ways to overcome? Smoking habit, substance abuse, alcohol addiction, all these. There is another one which would be stating facts based on the following elements, which are advantages and disadvantages. For example, is tuition necessary? It's an SPM question. Or animals, importance of animals, advantages. Okay, handphones. All these are either you state the advantages or disadvantages, or you state both of them and you compare and give your conclusion. All right. These essays can be questioned in three ways in SPM examination. Type number one, statement or factual. A statement is given. You are to present your idea in the form of evidence to support the idea that is already given in the statement. You do not need to make any decision. Your stand is given. So you need to just present the idea. For example, the importance of animals. You are not going to dispute about the importance of animals. The question is telling you the animals are important. You are to tell why. The second type would be argumentative, where you would take a stand. The state would be requiring the candidate to make a stand by or against the idea given and substantiate your stand through your valid points. And type 3, argumentative, where you compare and contrast. The statement would require you to compare both sides and give a general opinion, which would end in a reflective personal conclusion, which does not need to be unequivocal. So you do not need to have a firm stand. Your stand can be pliable. Okay, so it's entirely based on what you think. Your say would matter in the end. All right, moving on. Steps to do when attempting such questions. Again, I would incorporate this first criterion into all the sections. Read the questions carefully. Analyze the requirement of the question. Decide if you need to take, list out your contents, develop your essay well. Now, for introduction, this is actual essay. Yeah. For introduction, we have hook. It's either a statement, question, quotes, proverbs, statistics, news, or a short story. And then you move on to the next level in introduction to link to the task without revealing the task. And then you move on to the next stage where you would introduce the task. For example, there is this question. Oh dear. I can't see the question. I don't know how to. Yeah. This is probably about the unbecoming of the present teenagers. That's the idea. That's the question. So how would you write the introduction? A couple of years ago, our nation was, this is a story. The hook is a story, a short story. If you look here, we have a short story. So here, this is the application of it. A couple of years ago, our nation was held in a gruesome fit of fear and shocked upon the news of a teenager murdering her own brother with her boyfriend. This incident still sends shiver down our spines, and to imagine such a dreadful incident to have happened in our country is truly shuddering. That is the short story. Then you link it. You see that link to the task without revealing the task. Such incidents should send a signal to all of us. Everyone should take the outrageous hint and get to the depths of the matter in order to identify the roots and nip them in the bud. What could be the primary reason behind this phenomenon? There's a question there. Should the present parents shoulder the blame entirely, or there are other substantial factors as well? Surely the inception of the problem starts with the parents. This is a sample of introduction that I've prepared for you. From here, you can get the idea of how you can develop an engaging introduction. Remember, you would remember a person by looking at his face. So it's an introduction. So the arousal of the interest happens in the introduction. So make sure your introduction is very attractive. Development of paragraph for argumentative essays. See, this is a method that I have M for point, E for elaboration, for example. Lastly, R is as the reiteration of main point. Remember this method. This is very easy. I call it the mere method. M, main point, E, elaboration, another E, example, R, reiteration. Not repetition, but reiteration. You see, the main point is stated clearly and with precision. So do not ramble when you are giving your main point, because the examiner will have to know what is your point, what is the entire argument hanging on to. So it has to be stated very, very clearly. And then you move on to elaboration, where the main idea is elaborated well. Students are to widely exhibit their language proficiency through a detailed expression here, which is followed by an explicit example. For example, the main idea is given in a very, very explicit example, which is clear, direct, specific, and in-depth. Okay, so for you to clearly show it as an example, you can say for an example, to exemplify, to illustrate, or for an instance. Okay, after that, you would reiterate the main point. The main point is reiterated so that the candidate is intact with the main idea and has not deviated. So you can use words such as or said. All right, moving on. Now we've come to the next type, narrative essay. Most of the students would attempt narrative essay. Okay, it's based on holistic marking, 50%. So whatever the shortcomings, the impression that you are leaving on the examiner would affect your mark. Just remember that. Okay, overview, primarily business. Okay, however, it requires thorough creativity. It has to be entirely original. The writer has the freedom to influence the target reader with his or her personal perspectives on the narration. If you know what I mean. Okay, it's primarily based on your imagination. So whatever you imagine, that is it. No one can dispute it within the parameter that is given. Within the parameter that is confined in the question, you are free to write whatever you want. For example, you can talk about you having a cup of hot chocolate under the bed of Pacific Ocean with an octopus, if it stays within the boundary of the question that's given to you. No one can dispute you. But make sure it is within the boundaries of the parameter that's stipulated in the question. All right. And your idea, you can thrust it on the target reader and convince them, as long as your writing is persuasive enough. The advantages, it's entirely in the personal perspective of the writer. Rationale are decided by the writer. It's opinion over fact, individual identity, style, imagination, personal interpretation, and thought would develop the story, whether it is convincing or not. So you decide. The disadvantages, however, the parameter is set in the question. So you can't wander too far. There is a boundary, there is a parameter that is set in the question. Imagination has to be mature enough to make sense according to the parameter that is set. Language must be strong enough to convince the target reader. The flow and the fluidity of the ideas must be consistent. There are no content points which are readily available. For a factual essay, you always have content points. For example, if anyone were to ask, what are the benefits of tuition? You can always list out the benefits because they are facts. But for a story, there are no content points. Well, this is point number 1, 2, 3. No, it is entirely in your imagination. Okay, expectations. The interest is aroused and sustained throughout the essay. Language is entirely accurate. Sentence structure is very varied. Vocabulary is wide and used aptly. Topic is addressed with consistent relevance. Well, this applies for all other types of essays as well. Now, pre-writing prerequisites. Read the question carefully. Identify, students, please take note of this very carefully. Identify and underline the parameters. What are the requirements of the question? Kehendak soalan. And then identify your role. Who are you? What are you writing the story as? Brainstorm the main story. Break that idea or story into 7 fair sequences. Develop the idea thereof. Okay. Development of the ideas. Think of a plot. Plan the plot. Write your plot in the 7 sequence. You see, you have a story. You have an idea which is conceived into a story. There can only be one story if it's a narrative essay. That one story has to be broken into 7 sequences. So what happened first? And then what happened? And then what happened? And then what happened? Towards the end. 7 sequences. So that you can have 7 paragraphs. Develop your plot with WH questions. Develop the sequences with WH questions. Add the following to aggrandize your essay: dialogues, expressive statements, quotes, idioms, and proverbs. Yet again, only when they are needed and are used aptly. Okay. Then moving on to descriptive essay. When we talk about descriptive essay would cover place, people, and event. There are 3 types. Okay, there are 3 types. Let's see. Description of event or scene. Has a tone of narrative essay because it's describing an event or scene. Heaves more on the detailing of the scene more than the storyline. That's the difference between a story and a descriptive of an event. In a descriptive of an event, you would detail the scene in a more vivid and explicit manner than focusing on the storyline. Okay. And then has to be able to walk the target reader through the scene. Maksudnya, when someone is reading your essay, they should be able to follow you through. They should be able to walk with you. You should be your essay must be interesting enough to attract them so that they walk with you through the scene. Okay. All right. Next, guidelines. Have a clear image or vision of the scene or event. Description is lively and interesting. Details are stated vividly. Describe the activities involved in the scene in order. Capture the mood of the scene. Noise, lights, movements, color, and all that. Okay. Describe the effect of the scene on you. So basically you create all that. Okay. You are going to create all that. You are going to describe the scene. So basically, if the color is somber, dull, and very moody, you can describe the effect of the scene on you. You set the stage, and you act it out, and you walk us through. That is how you write a descriptive essay. You see, writing is an art, you know. Okay, so like Pythagoras said, there is no royal way to logarithm. You know, There is no royal way to logarithm. Pythagoras said that. So likewise, there is no royal way to an A+ overnight. You have to develop the interest of reading, and when you read, you learn. From the point of not learning anything, you learn and you apply and you develop the skill of writing. All right. Now ensure the vocabulary is varied and apt. Please remember, for English, we have vocabulary in a general consensus, and then we also have contextually relevant idea. For example, the word Homo sapien, it refers to man. I've given this example time and again. There was once I was marking an essay. The student wrote, it was an accident scene. The mother was involved in an accident. So she wrote, I saw an accident. There was, it was my mother's car. I could see from afar that it was my mother's car. And she was supposed to mean there was a group of people to have gathered around the car. So the most apt word would be onlookers or bystanders. Or she could have just written a group of people. Instead, she wanted to vomit the vocabulary she learned the day before. So she wrote there, a group of Homo sapiens have gathered around the car. That is ludicrous and funny. That is where the vocabulary, although it means human, but it is contextually wrong. So you sure wouldn't want to throw in a vocabulary for the sake of throwing in and make a clown of yourself. So be very mindful not to do that. All right, next. Description of a place. The detail of the nature of the place. The significance is highlighted. The scenery and the surrounding is described in the past, in the present, and possibly future. For example, if it's a night market, or if it's a beach, how was it in the past? How is it in the present? And how would it be in the future? What is so nostalgic about it? What is significant? How would you relate yourself to the particular place? All this would be for a description of a place. Guidelines. Give a proper, catchy introduction. Probably you can relate something interesting that happened there. Physical description has to be in detail because after all, it is a place. Describe the surrounding. So cover your senses, all 5 senses. Throw in ideas. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? Including your feelings and your personal attachment to the particular place that you choose to write. Description of a person or people. That's another type. Furnish enough details. What is known to you has to be known to the target reader, which means if you are going to write about someone whom I do not know, by the end of your essay, I should know the person from your perspective. That means I'm able to see the person from your eyes. You are able to convince your judgment over the particular individual on me. Impress the target reader with your point of view, strong enough to convince your judgment on the individual you are talking about. Okay. Now, guidelines. Be clear of whom you are describing. Make your description personal and add much of your connection or attachment, more than general sweeping statements, which are rather cliched. You know, this annoys me the most. Whenever we read a descriptive essay, the random beginning would be, everyone has a favorite person. For example, if it's your favorite person, everyone has a favorite person. Me too. I too have a favorite person. Well, that's very lame. Try to write something that's very interesting, that's catchy, and with something that is not cliched. Cliched macam dah jadi biasa dan boring. Okay. And then highlight on the areas that make the individual to stand out. What makes the individual special? And with a personal note. If you don't relate, if you don't have anything that's personally relatable, then you would fail to disseminate what you intend to disseminate, or you will fail to leave an impact, because it's very common, it's very monotonous, it is very mundane, it's very dull. Okay, do's. Have a good grasp or knowledge. Describe the activities related. Add your personal view, opinion, and feeling. Highlight what sets the choice you made unique. And end with a personal note. Don'ts: give poor description. Do not give poor description. The nama pun descriptive essay, so it has to be thoroughly described. Leave out personal qualities, values, and significance. This is a don't. Never ever leave out personal qualities, values, or significance. Never ever fail to relate to you on a personal note. And don't end abruptly. Have a positive, sentimental, attractive ending instead of ending it in an abrupt manner as if you're talking about a stranger to another stranger, which leaves no impact whatsoever. Okay. Now, this is the fastest presentation I've ever done for paper 1. Now moving on to paper 2. This one I have briefed to you. Section A will have a lot of KEBA inclusion. So that one, you will have to read the questions very carefully. Okay. For me personally, I would say section A would be the most difficult section. So there is a lot of inclusions of higher order thinking skills. Therefore, read the question carefully, read all the options, and choose the one which is most appropriate. Okay. Information transfer, this is very, very common. I'm sure you've done it from Form 1, you've been doing it. So this is the easiest of all sections based on linear or non-linear text. The only thing that I wish to emphasize here is be careful not to overlift or add unnecessary details, which will end up in losing marks because it's either 1 or 0. So do not overlift or do not add unnecessary details. Okay, moving on to section C, reading comprehension. I do not know whether in your screen you could see the title headings. I couldn't. Okay, based on an adapted text, quite long, and the language may be of a higher level. Now, let me tell you, please read the questions first. Okay, please read the questions before reading the text. Why? There are two benefits. Firstly, those questions would go into your mind. Without reading the text, those questions will give you an overview of what is in the text. That's number one. The questions will give you an overview of what is in the text. So you will be a bit more certain of what you're going to read. Number two, those questions will go into your subconscious minds. So as you read the text, you have a guidance, you have a guideline, you have something to look for because the questions are already in your mind. So read the questions first and then read the text. Answer according to the paragraphs. Only take the answer from the paragraphs stated. Be careful if the answer requires you to change the pronoun here. If the comprehension task text is written from first person's point of view, and the question is asking you in the form of third person's point of view, for example, the writer, what does the writer want? What does the writer feel? Do not take whatever that is in the text just like that and lift it like that. Do not write I think or I believe or I want, as in you become the writer. No, change the pronoun. Be mindful to meet the requirement of the questions. Do not ramble. When I say do not ramble, do not take anything from outside the requirement of the question. Section C, summary. Again, read the question carefully. This is perhaps the easiest section. Read the question carefully. Look for the boundaries for your summary. From which line to which line are you supposed to look for the content points? And draw a box. And then identify the keywords. If they are not in the question form, convert them into a question form. Okay, so identify the keywords, convert them into questions, and transfer them to the top of the text so that you don't have to flip the paper constantly. Read every line within the boundary and see if it answers the questions. So basically, just like how you handle reading comprehension, here, those keywords, either one keyword or two keywords, they are questions or two questions, and you have 14 content points. For the years that I've marked, there are 14 content points. So those content points, you have two questions and you need to look for answers within the area that's given, and there are 14 answers. identify them. Put them all together and your summary is done. There are definite 14 content points every. Okay, so identify them. Put them in one paragraph and please use the first 10 words given. Do not write exactly 130 words. You may not know which word is counted as 2 at times. So keep it safe, because a single word outside 130 is not counted. Okay, so summary marking, I don't think it's necessary for you now. Now, section D, poem. There are 4 poems. All these poems are by English poets. Hence, you have to do a background information study to understand the contextual meanings better. The poems are The Living Photograph, The Charge of the Light Brigade, What Has Happened to Lulu, and The Poison Tree. The most abstract one amongst these is The Poison Tree, where there is a parallel traveling, where you have a tree and there is an emotion. So there is a comparison and a parallel traveling. Okay, that's pretty much it for The Poison Tree. What Has Happened to Lulu is about a girl who has gone out of her house, and it's the struggle of a mother and a very inquisitive younger sibling. Okay, the gender is not stated of Lulu's younger sibling. The Charge of the Light Brigade is a typical war zone of yesteryears. Okay, it's not something common in the present year. Okay, it's something that belonged to the past. Okay, and The Living Photograph is the beautiful relationship of a deceased grandmother and her granddaughter, who is of 2 different ethnicity. Okay, well, that is pretty much it for the poem. Now, novel. I've got something to explain here. For novel, there are basically 3 types of novels. Dear Mr. Kilmer, Sing to the Dawn, and Captain Nobody. You see, the task requires a detailed understanding of the question, which would set the body of content on the right momentum. However, you see, teachers, we are constrained. We can't come into a class and teach you everything in one day. No, we can't teach you all the elements. However, in the SPM examination, the question on contrary would incorporate a couple of aspects. Therefore, I think in the year in the year 2016 or 2017, I think it's 2016, I developed an innovation which I presented in an international conference some 4 or 5 years ago. An innovation on how Malaysian students could handle the novel question. I'm going to present that to you today. All right. I call it the CIVA table. So tackling SPM novel questions with CIVA table, a simple and handy table to handle HOTS-based tasks. Many schools throughout the country, they are using this innovation, which was created by me some years ago. And this innovation, if you were to use this table, you would not go out of topic. And this is very handy. Okay, SPM novel questions. They are open-ended essay based on a novel, 10 marks for the content and 5 marks for the language. However, the marks for the content would seriously impact the marks for language, whereby if you fail to meet the requirement of the question or question, your marks for content will be slashed into half at least, and that would impact the marks for your language. So from a maximum of 15, your marks would go to a maximum of 7 or 8. 7. Okay. All right. So we have this innovation. All right. The advantage of this table is it gives an eagle vision towards the question tested. Every element is included and covered, has simple steps through which the requirement of the question is met. Now, this is the table. If you see, this is the table. There is element C for characters, I for incidents, scenes, or events, V for value or themes, A for applications or personal response. So the table is called CBA. C, characters, I, incidents or events or scenes, V, value or theme, A, application, personal response. Dah cover kan semua element. Kalau you lihat, all the elements are covered. However, if anyone were to ask for characteristics, characteristics would still fall under values because it is a value that is found in a character. Therefore, it comes under characteristics, values, sorry. Opinion, personal response. Lessons that you learn would come under application as well. So here, these are the elements. And then moving on to requirement. Senang saja, kita dapat soalan, kita tentukan sama ada setiap elemen ini, is it required or is it not required? When you receive a question, when you get a question, you analyze the question and you decide whether this particular element is required or not. That is all you need to do here. Upon confirming that, we move on to the numbering. If it is singular, then you just write 1. If it is more than 1, and if they have not stated the number, for example, what are the values that you could learn? They do not specifically state, write 2 values that you could learn, then you write 3 values. So you sort the requirement, and from there, you move on to numbering them, and then eventually you develop the body of content. Let's look at an example. Okay, based on the novel that you have studied, that's the question, in case if it is not clear up there. Based on the novel that you have studied, write about an incident in which the main character has exhibited his positive values, and how can that be applied in your life? I read the question again. Based on the novel that you have studied, write about an incident in which the main character has exhibited his positive values, and how can that be applied in your life? Now, we will sort the requirement first. Characters. Does the question require characters? Yes, it does. So you tick. Does it require incidents or events or scenes? Yes. Write about an incident. Therefore, yes. Values. Yes, positive values. Application. How can that be applied in your life, as in my life? So it is outside the novel. This is for my life. Therefore, application as well. Now, then you move on to numbering them. So what are the characters? How many characters? The main character has. So it indicates singularity. So 1. How many incidents? An incident. Therefore 1. Values? Positive values. More than 1. Therefore 3. So when you have 3 values, then you have 3 applications. From this numbering would ensure that you do not go out of topic, or you do not break the requirement of the question. You would not fail to meet the requirement of the question. And then you move on to the next part, which is to develop the body of content, where you develop. This is for Captain Nobody. This is for the novel Captain Nobody. Character, nude, incident, water tower incident, value or application, courage, kindness, determination. You can apply the same character. Probably for Dear Mr. Kilmer, you can talk about the main character, the boy. Incident, the incident where he stood up for his German friend, who was a girl. Value, what are the values you could get there? Again, for the other novel, you can write Sing to the Dawn. You could possibly write about the girl, again, the girl who was so determined to study. Incident, where she stood up to her father that she wants to study. Values, what are the values that you can learn from her? So by using this table, you would not go out of topic. You would remain intact, and you would get this body of content, which you would develop into a good essay. Now, there are some samples of hot questions, but I would not want to go there. But let me tell you this. For a good novel question, first of all, you need to introduce the novel, and you need to give a brief synopsis, a very brief synopsis in the introduction. But remember, just a mere synopsis would never ever ensure you any marks. But is it necessary? Yes. But would you get any marks if you were to just write an introduction without without meeting the requirement of the question? No, 0 marks. You need to have an introduction, and then you address the task. First, introduce the novel, and then you give a brief introduction, a brief synopsis of the novel, and then you move on to address the task, and then you move on to the content points, and then you give a reflective conclusion, a conclusion that is reflective. All right. There are some questions here, samples of hot questions. Heroes are made, not born. Based on the novel that you've studied, explain how far the statement is true. You can try using these questions to answer according to the CIVA table and develop the answer. Okay. That is pretty much it. Well, I ran very, very fast, isn't it? I ran very, very fast so that I would be able to give whatever that you need for the session today. So we have 5 minutes to 9:30. The time that was given to me was from 9:30 to 8:30 to 9:30. Should you have any questions?
Hello. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Thailand, for such a great sharing session just now. Okay, so for those of you who are having any questions, you can type on the chat box below. So I can choose any two from here and any two from our live session in our Facebook. So if you have any questions, you are welcome for it.
Yes, I'm ready to answer your questions.
Yep. Come on, guys.
Which is only pertaining to SPM. Yes, sir, I have. Yes, what is your question? Please do ask. How to write own opinion in the novel? Okay, well, very good. I will take that one question first. Can you hold the question, people?
Okay, hold up.
Right. Hold on. The question was, how do I need to scroll up now. Good Lord.
It's okay, you can focus on the first question first. Later I will pick the best
question
one.
Tu dah pergi ke atas dah.
It's okay.
Okay, the question is this. What was the question? Good Lord, there are too many questions that I missed the question.
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay, many of you are asking for spotted essays. Well, honestly, none of us even spotted that exam would be delayed so much. So honestly, no spotted. Don't focus so much on spotted questions. You see, you are the last batch. Anyone can speculate anything. Anyone could speculate anything. Okay, but unfortunately, everything can go wrong, and suddenly you'll be very disappointed. So I do not encourage the habit or the attitude of giving spots questions. All right. Okay.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah. Yes. What is the minimum idiom of amount of idiom in it? No. Please don't confine yourself. Don't tell your brains, well, I have to have certain amount of idiom. You can write a perfect essay which would get you a perfect mark without any idioms. It is not necessary. Only when you need.
So someone is asking how to score on grammar.
Okay. You see, there is no particular question for grammar, can? It is all integrated. So grammar is a skill of its own, which means it is rule, you know, like how, imagine a human body without bone structure. It is just a lump of meat and flesh. It can't even function and stand by its own. Likewise, grammar is like that to a language. So it's all full of rules. So you need to remember the grammar rules. Basically, you need to practice it. Well, I've got the question now. The first question: how do you write personal opinion in your novel? Yes, very good question. How would you incorporate your personal opinion? Well, if the question requires you to write a personal opinion, you write. Okay. If the question does not require you a personal opinion, do not write.
Okay, sir. For the last question, Is it necessary to use bombastic word in every single sentence, or just use a normal English while writing?
Well,
SPM.
the hype on bombastic word is very, very, very personal. For example, whatever that may seem bombastic to you is not bombastic to me. Don't even use the word bombastic. I would use grandiloquent, and that sounds to me. So there is no confinement to bombastic. Don't be clinging on to bombastic words to impress the examiner. Rather, keep your sentences grammar error free. Yeah, keep your sentences grammar error free. All right. Okay. Keep your sentences short. If you know some good words, just throw in those good words.
Yep.
Okay. So Aiman, there are students who are requesting for my number. Is it okay to share my number?
Yes, you can share your number in our Telegram.
I'm not in the Telegram. So I will probably share here.
Yes, you can share your number if you don't mind being.
Yeah, I do not mind. Yes, I'm sharing my number here.
But you will be spam.
Well, it's up to me whether to acknowledge or to ignore, isn't it? Okay, I'll try to help you, lah.
So if you are lucky, sir will respond.
Make a group, sir. Okay, Sharvin, probably you should make a group and add me in, Sharvin. After all, you only have about 10 days for SPM. But I'm sure if you go through, you see, I have been getting this message. I'm seeing this. Well, you can see my number there. I'm getting this message. Can you explain the CIVA table? If you go back to see the presentation, you'll be able to identify the way to answer. Well, whoever you are, Potato, I will block you if you spam me.
But don't worry, guys. You will be added in our Telegram group. So all the info and all the notes will be posted there. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that's all for our session for tonight.
Yeah, I hope it was fruitful. Thank you so much. It was so nice having.
So I hope all of you will make use of the tips and tricks, and I hope just do the best for your SPM later on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But for tomorrow, stay tuned for our mathematics session on 4 o'clock in the evening. Okay. So, but before we end our session, could you please switch on your camera? I'm taking a screenshot as our group selfie, okay? So can you pose like this with an A? Okay. Just make your finger like this and make an A, okay? I'm taking a screenshot, come on. This is a group selfie. Come on, come on. You will be featured in our Facebook. Okay, make an A. Okay, I'm taking a picture right now. Okay, smile. 1, 2, 3. Hold up, hold up. Okay, next one for the next batch. 1, 2, 3. Come on, do the A logo and smile. 1, 2, 3. And for the last one, come on. Make an A logo with your finger. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you everyone. See you next time. Bye.